What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today I'm bringing you a DD profile for the September 2018 format in the TCG Yu-Gi-Oh! This deck struggled a lot when Master Rule 4 initially came out with Lynx because its combo sequencing is very dependent on extra deck monsters, so it was basically throwing a wrench right in the middle of its combos, and as we've gotten better semi-generic Link support that fits with this deck, it's proven its resilience and ability to adapt and evolve, and actually utilize a lot of the really powerful links that we have now to help enable its combos. So let's get into that. I'm excited to share with you guys some of my ways that I figured out how to make this deck still flow how it wants to under Master Rule 4. So let's get right into this. We're going to start with the main deck. 3 Lamia. I'm not going to go too much into the exact card effects, just because this deck is probably a couple years old now, so if you really want to, you can find some profiles that'll go more like in depth word for word, but I'll give a brief overview of the cards. So being your tuner, that's recurable, just really strong. Getting things to the graveyard can also help be a combo piece in itself, so that's really good. Another card that's really good is DD Swirl Slime, being a fusion summon from hand by pitching in another DD from grave. Again, helps get guys in grave that you need to, helps further your combos, and also what's really relevant now more than ever is your additional special summon that you can get granted by banishing this guy from the grave. That's really good, definitely too. So those are more essential combo pieces. A few things we run to help flatter those essential combo pieces to enable them to do what they want to do, even if I'm not seeing those per se. 2 Necroslime, 2 Ghost. Now Necroslime just being the additional fusion summon from grave by banishing itself and another guy is really good. You probably want to be fusion summoning once, if not twice, in a turn, so that's really nice at a 2 ratio, just to make sure you're seeing it when you need to. DD Ghost is a very strong DD, being, I think, the only monster in the archetype that doesn't, that at least I run, that isn't a once per turn clause in any way. So when it's sent to grave, target another guy in grave, dump it. When it's banished, add a DD besides itself or another ghost back from your grave to your, from your banished zone to the grave. So that's really good. It's just kind of resource management, card economy, and yeah, just a good card. Interaction I want to highlight is with Lamia. Being able to chain the pitch on Lamia with the ghost effect is really relevant. So you could target Lamia, get another one in circulation, and even though you're going to be banishing this one when it leaves the field because you did summon it with its pitch effect, you'll have another one in circulation. So that's really really vital to a lot of combos. Now those are the essential pieces. You run 10 really essential pieces that just facilitate what the deck does without Master Rule 4 really being in the picture. Now these other cards, as well as being like combo enablers, they're also a fair amount of starters and help make your link summons also possible before you go into much of your actual DD fusing and combo plays. So let's get into that. Kepler. We're running 3, of course. Everything that's really relevant about this guy, except the pendulum scale effect. The pendulum scale can be relevant, and the on-summon ability to search out any contract is really good. Obviously, you're running 3 of your contract that just, so you search out Kepler, you search out the Dark Contract, and then that searches out any other DD from deck to hand. But we run a couple other contracts that are really good because the Forbidden Dark Contract, one that I don't see people run, is an additional special summon from your hand for a DDD. So if you search that out with Kepler and you already have a DDD in your hand, that facilitates 2 pendulums on board to make Electromite and go into your link summons. So just a really good card all around. Helps be a versatile card, so it's more relevant now than ever in Master Rule 4, needing to make like Electromite to really start a lot of your plays off in a comfortable way. So 3 Copernicus also, another card that's really relevant, being a combo enabler and also a starter card. Being able to dump your Swirl Slime gets you an additional summon, so it can get you 2 pendulums on board for Electromite, as well as what's really good about it is that it just helps you see your combo pieces. You know, Lamia recurs, special summons, fuses from grave, dumps another piece to grave when dumped. Like, it can just let you see whatever combo piece you're missing if you already are, you know, fairly into your combo. So it can either be a starter or a combo enable. So really good. Now, the only card that's outside the archetype that we run for support is Chronograph Sorcerer. This card is just such a standalone card. It really does the trick with Time Gazer for getting another Pendulum on board. That's really good. Its level 8 scale can be relevant because we do want to make Galaxy Tomahawk, so we run some level 7 guys, so that's good. And really what's the make it or break it point that makes it with this guy is the ability to summon itself when another card of yours is destroyed, as well as another guy from your hand after it's summoned, right? So it's summoned, you get another guy. If you choose to summon another guy from your hand, you can with its summon effect. So it's really good, just really carries its own weight, and just does a lot for the deck. One Time Gazer helps facilitate Electromite plays, and it's surprisingly not as just dead as you'd think if you draw it. Being a scale 8, as I stated earlier, can be kind of relevant. Being fodder for Electromite to pop in scale to get your additional draw and add from extra deck to hand, relevant. And, you know, maybe on a bad day you can just banish it with Allure of Darkness too if it's breaking up your hand too much. So it definitely has a few ways it can fit into the deck aside from Chronograph. Some of your more power plays that are also combo enablers, mainly. This can also kind of be starter cards depending on how things go. It's just a really versatile card, being able to be an additional recursion from grave when in scale, and on summon being another recursion from grave. It just really does a lot, and there are ways to get both of those effect off in one turn. So yeah, just really good. If you play DDDs, you probably run 3 Ragnarok. Let's be real, that's a very self-explanatory strong card. 3 Thomas, I've seen people run 2, I've seen people run 3. I think 3 is the proper number, just because it really doesn't ever feel too dead. Being a free scale as long as you have another DD in your extra deck to add back, it just, you know, put it to scale, add a guy back, free scale, you know. Your card advantage is replaced. Good card economy for that. Combos well with Electromite, being able to get a guy back from your extra deck face up. Just a good effect overall in this deck, and its ability on field to pop a guy in scale to summon a level 8 DDD from the deck with its effects negated just makes, you know, it can be a starter card, you know, getting 2 Pendulums on board, worth noting, as well as making you rank 8s. So that is your 3 ofs for your level 8 Pendulum DDDs in deck. For some level 7s, we run 2 Newton, 2 Chaos King Apocalypse. Now Newton is a surprisingly versatile card. These guys are in the level 7 category to help facilitate Galaxy Tomahawk plays, but they also have strengths of their own that really work good within the archetype without making Galaxy Tomahawk. So Newton can pitch itself to the grave to add a DD from your grave to your hand. That recycling can be really good if you run through like all of your guys and you have some banished with maybe like Pot of Desires or something. He can really help grind it out of it, make sure you can get a guy back to hand that you need. Let alone the cool interaction with Copernicus being almost a pseudo tutor by tutoring whatever you need, dumping it to the grave, searching it, dumping it to the grave. Then you can just dump this to grave and add it to your hand. So that's a nice interaction that definitely comes up. And the scale 10 effect is also relevant. Being a scale 10. Goodness. So we also run 2 DD Chaos King Apocalypse. Being a Pendulum DDD is good for, you know, comboing and making Electromite with Kepler, searching out your Forbidden Dark Contract. Being able to banish 2 DDs from grave and special summon it from scale is completely relevant. More DD summons can trigger off more of our DD triggers to summon out more guys and just really get your combos going. Yeah, just a really, really solid card, and the scale 4 is also relevant, being a lower scale in the deck. So yeah, definitely really good. You know, I've seen people not run it, but I think that the additional special summon it grants, as well as since we make Galaxy Tomahawk, is definitely a good card to run. So onto the contracts. 3 Dark Contract with the Gate. This is really standard. Basically every deck runs 3. Before I played Saryuja, I only ran 2 because I really didn't like seeing multiples, but because we play Saryuja, we can shuffle any dead copies back, so it's really good. Yeah, just easy card to play because it just searches out more guys. Dark Contract with the Swamp King is good because it's a fusion summon, so you want to fusion summon probably twice in a turn for optimal plays, and so we run 3 Swirl Slime, 2 Necro Slime, and 2 of these, and they're all kind of searchable within the deck and stuff, so it just helps assure that we're getting our fusion summons when we need, and we don't want to. Yeah, it's just more nice to see it than not. Definitely a good card. We don't really want to banish it off of Pot of Desires, so having like 2 just kind of ensures that we're a little safer than not to activate Pot of Desires before we have it in hand. And a spicy card that I like to run that I don't see people run is Forbidden Dark Contract with the Swamp King. Being able to be a fusion summon from hand by dumping those guys to grave is actually relevant completely. Being able to pop and scale with Electromite is completely relevant, and what's really cool about this is that it special summons if you can, when you activate it once per turn. You can, not just when you activate it, but once per turn you can special summon a DDD monster from your hand in defense position, but its effects are negated, so that's really strong, being that it just gets another body on board, makes Kepler a starter, helps make Electromite. Definitely a really good card. Now, for a bit of the draw power, Toolers, just card selection, helps you unbrick hands, make sure you see the most optimal cards, typically, and you run so many monsters, and they're all dark, so just a good card. 2 Desires, again, I used to only run 1, but playing Saryuja really helps you shuffle, or just put any dead card to the bottom that you don't have a use for, so that really helps minimize some of the risk that you initially had with playing 2 Pot of Desires before I ran Saryuja, but yeah. If I don't run Saryuja, I'd probably just run 1. Also, you run 3 of a lot of your essential cards, so it's unlikely that it's completely gonna screw up your play. And the last card you run is Foolish Burial. Just another way to dump cards, right? It's a really versatile effect because you have so many different effects in Grave with your guys, so being able to see your combo pieces and further your combos is just really good. This is a 41 card main deck. The 41st card that I put in was another Dark Contract with the Swamp King, just because it's always been treating me well as I've started to have to fall back on it more and more with just like in random scenarios seeing myself searching it out. It's proven to me that it's actually a really good card, and I do like being able to reliably search it out even after activating a Pot of Desires, so yeah. Now into the extra deck. Link Spider, Proxy Dragon, Galaxy Tomahawk shit, Lan, Galaxy Tomahawk shit, but also just being a completely generic Link 2 with down arrows is relevant because it can kind of also just be one of the links you make if you're just struggling, not seeing your Electromite plays, not seeing your Saryuja plays. You might make this and then open up some of your zones so you get some of your plays live again. So that's definitely really good. But these 3 are your Galaxy Tomahawk Galaxy Tomahawk package to help make Saryuja with. So these 3 make Galaxy Tomahawk, a 1-card Saryuja basically. So 1 Electromite, just a really good support card for the deck. Being able to tutor your pendulums to the extra deck, really relevant. The pop ability, when it pops something at scale to trigger itself to draw an additional card as well as add the thing back, is just a really nice card economy advantage. Being able to get an additional draw with this deck is really nice. Helps you kind of keep digging, see your combo pieces, make sure that you have enough combo pieces to keep extending after you already go out of your way to make these link summons. Saryuja Skuldred. Oh my gosh, this card really is phenomenal, and being able to make Galaxy Tomahawk in this deck to then make Saryuja is just a really good play. Really helps fix your hands. The additional summon also is not to be scoffed at. That can help trigger off more DDs, trigger effects. So it's just a really good card. I'd highly recommend running this. And now that it's reprinted in budget, it's more than an easy card to just play, because you really will benefit from playing this in this deck. So there's the links. We run 6 links, right? It's a pretty or 5. Whoops, 5 links. It's a pretty hefty link package for such a extra deck centric deck. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. For the fusions, 2 Genghis being your essential fusion card to just give you more recursion effects on board, and being a level 6, just really good. One of your main combo pieces. And 1 Oracle King Diarch. Now, this card is really good being a level 7, so it facilitates Tomahawk plays easily. And also with end of match procedures and time procedures, the life gain is more relevant than ever. It's sad that I don't run Beowulf, but with how tight the extra deck is, I think that this is the right play, because it helps make Saryuja really easily, which just makes you be able to go into all your other combos, so definitely really good. And that's all. Only 3 fusions. I know, holy shit, what a thin amount, but you really got to make it work with this deck and how tight the extra deck is, so, you know, this is how I've chosen to run it. A number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk. This card's just insane, and how easily this deck can get 2 level 7s on board to make a rank 7 is just incredible. So I'd highly recommend this card if you run Saryuja and you're open to a couple extra deck slots being taken up for links to make him. Definitely a really, it's a power play, just really gets you there. So I can see Galaxy Tomahawk definitely getting banned though, so you know, this might have to be re-evaluated after the next ban list or something, because who knows, I feel like that card is definitely getting banned. Number 38, this is your 1 rank 8, you know, I want to run more, but it's just such a heavy duty card, negates spells and effects, a spell card or an effect, so just a really good card, definitely a easy card to put in, being such a strong card, negating stuff, stealing stuff too, right? In the Sky Striker matchup, you steal like their engage or something, you might just end their turn, or at least make them have to go combat with Hayate or something, so definitely really good. And now for your Synchro package, this is I think the biggest package aside from the links. We also run 5, but to start, you run a Gnawed-Eyes Meteor Burst and a Gust King Alexander. These are kind of your Synchro package for combos, being able to special summon guys from the Pendulum Zone. Helps like abuse Ragnarok or get a Thomas on field to make a rank 8. Gust King just being another summon from the grave of your DDs, extend your plays, help make, you know, a Siegfried, a Psyframe, your Psyframe Lord Omega, a Crystal Wing, you know, all in one turn. So just really good. Onto your bigger, more boss monster-esque guys in the deck that you will kind of climb through your Meteor Burst and Gust King Alexander to make, you know, so you'll make Siegfrieds, you'll make Crystal Wing, and you'll make Psyframe Gear, Psyframe Lord Omega, goodness. So these guys are just more of the boss monster heavy hitters in the deck also. So Siegfried negating stuff and being a DDT to trigger off other DD's effects on summon, really good. Crystal Wing, negating monster effects, not even on field, right? Negating hand traps, battling, gaining attack, just super heavy duty card, really, really powerful. Can easily win some games with that guy. And Omega, you know, I really didn't run Omega too much for a while, but I found like an extra slot in my side deck, and my extra deck that I kept being on the fence about like what was really going to stay in it, and I found that Omega can do some justice for this deck because you need a little bit of grind. You know, you have your Ghost, you have a couple ways to grind it out, but really you're going to play most of your hand, if not all your hand, on your first go, just with how the combos pan out. You know, if you're going to do a fully extended combo, you're probably going to use most of the cards that you have, so this can help recur your resources back to Grave, so that you can kind of set up for next turn, and also just make sure your opponent doesn't start with one extra card than you. So really really solid cards to run, and that's the whole extra deck. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this profile. This is what I found to be the best list right now in all my playtesting. Let me know if you guys have any other spicy text that I've left out. I'd love to hear about it, and hope you guys have a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, take care.